Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the NSCA Quaker State Late Model Series. This is the first event of the season. Not much to say for the first event of the season, so let's just get right on to it, into the starting lineups. Heat number 1 is going to start out with Henrietta Fitzwater on the inside, row 1, Carson Scott on the outside, row 2 is Matthew Brown, Brock McMahon, row 3, 5th and 6th, Jake Rogers and Jack Porkins, row 4, TJ Hanley, Sam Rogers, row 5, Tanya Breyer, JT Hanley, row 6 is Dejan Weeks and Chris Dodd, row 7 is going to be Mike Serra and Bob Schofke, and rounding out your field for heat number 1 is Patrick Curtis in the 21E car. Getting ready to go. And green flag is out. We are underway here for the heat number 1. Henrietta Fitzwater starts on that inside line, gets a really good line through the corner. Dejan Weeks, the 6th car, Matthew Brown's trying to follow her down. Looks like he's going to take over the second spot from Carson Scott. Already too wide coming down the corner. Now the 98 car of Jake Rogers is going to try and take over that spot. Jake Rogers in the 98 car driving the Eris machine for Gabriel Wanderley. And now Henrietta Fitzwater has really started to just pull away from the rest of the field right at the beginning of this heat race. It looks like Jake Rogers is now going to try to get into the 6th car of Matthew Brown. That's your battle for second place. But the spot we're kind of interested in is going to be that transfer spot back in 6th, which is being held by Chris Dodd, who's now passing Carson Scott to take over the 5th spot. And now if you take over 5th, you're really got a little bit of a armor behind you because you don't have that transfer spot, and if you get passed, doesn't mean you're out of the feature yet. Now Mike Serra in the 24Y coming from behind towards the back of the field is going to try and get by the 25 of Carson Scott. Looks to take that underside on turn 1. Coming out of turn 2, they're going to be side by side going down into turn 3. Mike Serra in the 24Y taking that inside lane. It seems to be the preferred lane, and he will take it coming down into turn number 1. He's going to clear the 25. This is your white flag lap. And Henrietta Fitzwater is going to take over the 1st spot. Jake Rogers in 2nd, 3rd TJ Hanley, 4th Matthew Brown, 5th Chris Dodd, and 6th rounding out your field will be the 24Y of Michael Serra. These are going to be the drivers transferring to the feature event. They are going to be 1st through 6th. That's how this race is going to go. 1st through 6th. Transfers to the feature. Henrietta Fitzwater, Jake Rogers, TJ Hanley, Matthew Brown, Chris Dodd, and Mike Serra will all transfer to the feature event. Heat race number 2 starts out with Lucas Tran and Daniel Maxwell in the front row. 2nd row, Alex Tanker and Zachary Fitzwater. 3rd row, Joshua Jones and Kyle Maxwell. 4th, Cody Smart and Nick Pericles. 5th row, Eric Hayden and Kyle Collins. 6th row is Callum Wood and Eric Willis. 7th row is going to be Gabriel Wanderley and Ferdinand Gabat. And rounding out your field all alone in that last row is going to be Roy Bruce in the 808. Coming around turn number 4 this time, Lucas Tran will lead them to the field. Green flag is in the air. We are underway for heat number 2. And already looks to be a good battle for the lead, but Lucas Tran already up into the front. Not much is really happening already at the start of this race. It looks like they might go single file, but no, the 50 car, Alex Tanker, wants to get up to that front spot. He's going to try and take over the lead. And he's already almost taken 2nd, and he actually has taken 2nd going into turn number 1. 50 car already taking up another spot. Looks like he's going to try for that top spot. He has a really fast car down on the bottom line. Everyone's kind of trying that high line, but it's not really working. Now the 50 car gets under the 4 car going into turn number 1. They're side by side going into 3. Coming out of 4, looks like the 50 car has a little bit of an advantage, and he'll take it going down the straightaway and entering into turn 1. The 5 car of Joshua Jones is in 3rd. And it looks like he's going to try and challenge that 4 car for 2nd. And they're side by side going into turn number 1. There's your leader, Alex Tanker. And it looks like Joshua Jones will clear him entering into turn 3. This track is really kind of a take the bottom side away from the other guy kind of track. It doesn't really, there's not really a high line going right here. And here's your battle for the 6th spot. Eric Hayden and Daniel Maxwell fighting for that position. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. And look, Callum Wood in the 224 car. Coming from looks like the back of the field. And it's going to be a photo finish coming to the line. I don't know who won that one, and I'm getting word here. I'm listening to the scoring, and Callum Wood will take over the 6th spot. Alex Tanker is going to take over the lead in dominating fashion after passing Lucas Tran. Joshua Jones will finish in 2nd. Cody Smart will finish in 3rd. 4th is Lucas Tran. 6th is the 62B of Eric Hayden. And Callum Wood beating out Daniel Maxwell for the 6th spot. Here's your last chance showdown. Drivers who do not finish the top 6 will be in this race. Brock McMahon, Jack Porkins, Patrick Curtis, Carson Scott, Nick Pericles, JT Hanley, Kyle Maxwell, Dejan Weeks, Gabriel Wanderley, Ferdinand Gabat. That's your top 10 starting this race. Roy Bruce, Eric Willis, Zachary Fitzwater, Kyle Collins, Sam Rogers, Tanya Breyer, Daniel Maxwell, and Bob Schwebke will round out the last 8 cars. Coming down to the finish, coming down to the start-finish line, green flag. The G5 of Brock McMahon doesn't really get going as kind of the last 2 starts, or maybe the 21E just got a better start. And it looks like he's going to try that bottom line, and he almost went 3 wide. Jack Porkins on that outside lane. Didn't really work for him as they're going side by side. 21E of Patrick Curtis and Brock McMahon. McMahon has a little bit better line going through turns 3 and 4. Now Patrick Curtis is going to try that low line again going through 1 and 2. And it looks like it's going to be a good race trying to get to that position. And Patrick Curtis looks like he'll take it on the exit of turn number 4. The last chance showdown is 16 laps. You got to make it to the same position. Only there's 18 cars to deal with. And the 21 is just the 21E, I should say. There's another 21 car in the field. But the 21E is pulling away from the rest of the field. G5 in 2nd. 3rd is Nick Pericles. 4th is Kyle Maxwell. Those cars are painted similarly. 5th is Jack Porkins. 6th is Gabriel Wanderley, but being passed by Dejan Weeks in the 21 car. Dejan Weeks now holds that 6th spot, or I believe, yep, he does hold the 6th spot. Now he's trying to get past the 26 car of Jack Porkins. And looks to be a slow car. The 80 of JT Hanley looks to have been slowed down. He's going to pull it into pit lane. Going to pull it into the pit area, and I don't believe he's going to be able to finish this race. And now Roy Bruce coming from the back of the field. Looks like he's going to try and take over that transfer spot from Jack Porkins in the 26 car. We actually have some high hopes for that 26, as he seemed to be a fairly fast race car, but not for that first heat. He really did not have a very good car and a very good race. Couldn't keep that bottom line, which is really where everyone's at. And now Roy Bruce trying to get under Dejan Weeks to try and pass him for that 5th position. Get a little bit more distance between him and the 7th place car. As Zachary Fitzwater trying to get into the race. Seems to have gone single file at the first 4 cars, while Bruce and Weeks are trying to battle it out for that 5th spot. Dejan Weeks will fall back in line going after the 808 car, and he will start in 6th now. Dejan Weeks. Not really the best kind of run that he would have been hoping for in that GRT, but he seems to be doing fairly well. That 21 car doesn't really seem to be off a little that much as we go to 3 laps with this left in this race, as everyone's just kind of gone single file, except for in the back of the field. A lot of drivers who we expected to see up at the front, Bob Schopke and Eric Willis, to name a couple of them. And you can see Jack Porkins continuing to fall off. Dejan Weeks still holding that transfer spot. White flag is out. Patrick Curtis has one more time around, and it has pretty much gone single file as the 21 tries to catch the 808. Doesn't look like he's going to try any moves. And Patrick Curtis will take over the Last Chance Showdown win. Brock McMahon second, Kyle Maxwell third. Fourth is going to be Nick Pericles. Fifth is the 808 of Roy Bruce. And sixth is Dejan Weeks to round out your feature field. Finishing in the lead, Patrick Curtis, Brock McMahon second, Kyle Maxwell is third, Nick Pericles is fourth, Roy Bruce in fifth, Dejan Weeks is sixth, and those are the transfer cars. Zachary Fitzwater seventh, Kyle Collins eighth, ninth, Sam Rogers, and 10th, Daniel Maxwell. That's going to round out your top 10. Last 8 cars, Jack Porkins in 11th, Tanya Breyer in 12th, 13th, Carson Scott, 14th is Gabriel Wanderley, 15th is Ferdinand Gabat, 16th is Bob Schofke, 17th is Eric Willis in the 604, and 18th with a problem early on is 80 of JT Hanley. Features coming up next. Only not in this video as we do not have time. I'll see you guys in the next video as we can take on the feature event, 40 laps here at Beaver Dam. See you guys next time.